Hey guys, Chris here with Cohesive Friendship Unit. I am with Jeremy
Yo, what's up?
and Brian.
What's going on?
And today I think we're going to be doing a little mourning, uh,
Gloating.
little ruminating, a little sadness, some eulogies maybe. We're going to say goodbye to PUBG. But real quick, if you guys have any sad thoughts, happy thoughts, any thoughts about PUBG, since it's dead now, we're gonna have a funeral for it. Leave those down below. Throw us a like if you have a like to throw, and if you love us, sub us. So here we go. Looks like for the first time in more than a year, PUBG has less than 1 million concurrent players, which is crazy because that's still like number one on Steam. But
what was their high water mark?
I was just gonna say that. So they hit their high water mark around January 2018 with 3,236,027 players.
Jesus.
And now we are below 1 million, which again, 1 million is still very respectable, but they've just been going on a downward trend for the last 9 months consecutively, and it doesn't look like the game is doing anything to pivot that. And I kind of want to talk about why we think this happened, how we think this happened, and maybe those warning signs. Look at some other games that are currently in the market that are maybe making the same mistakes. And you can just shut up.
What do you think, Chris? What do you think?
Well, thank you, Brian.
Why? and what happened? And
yeah.
why?
So I think
us, sir. Tell us.
I think there's 3 core issues right now for me personally. Oh, 4 core issues. Fuck it. I'm gonna go rapid
Fuck
fire.
it, we'll do it live.
Yeah. Rapid fire 1. We're gonna say there was no progression system, and that really hurt the game. You were just playing the game. There was nothing else to it. It was just play the game. They would reset the leaderboard so much they didn't even matter. 2 would be the microtransactions. $2.50 for a crate that gives you shitty shit, and just they're not even interesting, and the odds of you getting something good are so astronomically low. It's not worth the $2.50, and that's really the only way that you could get cosmetics at this point. 3, the just general development of the game dragged way too long with not enough transparency. And 4 would just be, it's a bit buggy. It's better, and it is getting better, but it's a bit buggy.
It's too buggy for how long it's fucking been out. And
yeah,
how
summer's
popular.
over, dude. The bugs are dead.
This game was like the most popular game of the year in January.
Oh yeah.
And then Fortnite came and fucking stole its lunch. And Fortnite sucks.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and then what they do, I think one of the problems is that they just rolled over. They were like, okay, Fortnite stole our lunch. Like, what do we fucking do now? Let's introduce season passes.
Yeah, to me they that's what I'm saying. To me they more than rolled over. They were like, oh, we're dead, so fuck it. Like, we're gonna now
Let's try and get some cash.
Yeah, let's try to
Right.
milk this puppy. Like,
Which you already fucking did, because as far as I can tell, they didn't hire anybody. They're just as slow as they've always been, so there's like 25 of them just raking in this fucking cash.
I think that, so I feel where you're coming from, Chris, on the lack of the progression system and on the cosmetics, but I don't think that is like a game killing in and of itself. Like, I know a lot of players like to buy the cosmetics, and I know that's good revenue for the company, and we can have a debate that we've had many times about whether or not that's appropriate in this day and age. And I think the same thing kind of goes for a progression system, where like a leaderboard is great, but like there's no real progression system in StarCraft. Like, they rank your matches for when you're playing competitive, but like you're not a level, you know what I mean?
well, there was also the level. Like, once you hit
there?
a certain once you hit like a certain Protoss level, you got the banner, or you got like the special unit skins. Or...
Okay, sure. Okay, so I think maybe a little bit more around that to keep you coming back for more would have been nice, but I don't think that was fundamental. I think the development issues and the bugs were a much bigger problem, and I think So in reference to maybe where we'll move in a little bit, not to get there yet, but like fundamentally, like at a certain point, we all played it for like 150 to 200 hours, and after 150 to 200 hours, I played it for 170. You played it for 350 hours, and I think after that amount of time, like you've played the game. Like they just didn't have anything else to offer. The matches generally played out the same way. The new map didn't change it that much. They introduced one new map in 2 years, and like I think we all kind of agreed by that point. Like we all enjoyed it in the beginning, despite the bugs, but by the end, we were like, we've kind of seen what it has to offer, and I think that might be a problem for other battle royale games in the future.
What I think the problem is the game ain't fun because of the bugs, and like you don't need to reset the leaderboard when you change like some colors in the UI. Like they reset the leaderboard like every other day.
You couldn't be competitive in it.
Right, and I think that would have helped with the progression thing that you were talking about. If you could be like, oh look, I'm improving, like I'm doing better. Like
if you had even like dog tags that like showed your rank, and when you killed someone, you saw like, oh, I killed like that, crazy good guy. Like,
like something like that. It doesn't fundamentally change the game, but it gives you like. It gives you a feeling that you're doing something other than just controlling a guy running through the desert or running through the forest. Like, the game wasn't fun. It wasn't like I never really played it by myself, and I think that Jake probably really didn't either. And Chris, did you play it that much by yourself?
I played it by myself until I got I played it well after that because I wanted a solo win. But once I got the solo win, I stopped. I just wanted one solo win
because it was like your old version of a progression system, effectively.
Exactly. Yeah. I set goals for myself. I was like, I want this kind of win. I wanted a win in every. I wanted a solo, a duo, a trio, and a squad win.
What made the game fun was what made it not fun. The fact that it like you could talk with your friends that you were playing with, because most of the time you weren't doing anything. Like you were just running around, or you were like picking up guns, and like occasionally you would get into a firefight. Most of the time, for me at least, you get shot in the head. But the game wasn't what was fun about the game. People, I think, played it because it was something to do with your friends.
I think in the beginning that pacing was like tense and interesting and was different than a lot of other, combat shooter games. But I think that it didn't age particularly well. Like after playing again 100 hours of that sort of match, whereas in the beginning you were like, I remember my first game of PUBG, I was like hunkered down in a fucking building, like with my heart pounding out of my chest, listening for footsteps, and then I blew a guy away with a shotgun, and I was like, nice. But like by the end, you just don't give a fuck anymore. Like it's, instead of being like tense and interesting, it's like what you just said, Brian. Like you wait around, you move a little bit, you might get shot, you might shoot someone, nothing really happens.
And
I think occasionally something interesting happens. So it's few and far between.
If the game had dog tags, would we be playing it still? I don't think so.
So I think that occasionally thing that we keep saying is important, because in a game where if you're doing well in a match, you're going to be in there for 20 minutes. I would say that's a pretty average PUBG game. If you're in, you rarely get that far. If you're 17 minutes into a game and some stupid bug kills you, it's extremely frustrating, and you just lost 20 minutes of your time.
Right,
and that sucks. And we couldn't get in we just wouldn't get in certain vehicles because it was just not worth it.
Yeah.
More often than not, it was like, if you had 4 people on, one of you was gonna have a game-wrecking bug within the session, like either a crashed desktop or just something where nothing was working right. It was like, what are you doing to, the developer? What are you doing with
weapon skins?
Well, yeah, exactly. Like, where are your priorities?
That was what was frustrating. As a community, we were like, fix the fucking game. And as they were
like,
like,
out with a disco crate.
Yeah. Amazon Prime members, get your fucking
They
spa
started
skins.
with that fucking key shit, and that was pretty much the beginning of the end, I think.
Yeah.
Because that's when it was like, okay, it's definitely about the money more than the game.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
fundamentally, what you're doing is you're selling a game.
Yeah.
And if it's not a good game, people are not going to buy it. And if you don't buy the game, you can't buy any of the skins or the other stupid shit. So you built a building without a fucking foundation underneath it.
So to flip the question on its head a little bit, we've been discussing maybe like what caused the game to fail. What could have been done to fix it, do you guys think? Chris already mentioned dog tags might have helped. Obviously, like make the game not shit, like fix the bugs around the sound, around the vehicles, around just crashing fucking, PCs, etc. But like what in terms of gameplay, if anything, could have salvaged the game? That's like within reason.
Yeah.
More frequent new maps.
Yeah, frequent
More
new maps. I'm
And
gonna say
shit that's not behind paywalls and stuff like
Yeah.
like. If
Fix
you're
the
gonna
bugs
make
and
a
add
new map,
progression.
it's available to everybody.
Yeah, fix the bugs and add progression. And I think that would help a decent bit. And yeah, more maps help. I think the small map was a step in the right direction. And I'm going to sound very not Chris for a minute, but I watched a lot of the, God damn it, Black Ops 4 Battle Royale mode. And it looks pretty good. Like, goddamn, it looks like everything PUBG should be. It's polished, it's not buggy, the gameplay is smooth, the time to kill isn't ridiculous, the map is a good size, it flows really well. It's just like...
You can't build fucking structures in front of people.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say, to Fortnite's credit, like, the game pace was a lot quicker. Yeah, the pace of the game was much, much better. And PUBG got a little bit better with that, with the small map. But even then, like we said, there's a lot of, like, dead time that doesn't need to exist.
It was simple stuff like they could have tweaked the item spawn rates better so you're not getting, like... The island map, like, you were getting a lot of guns and a lot of ammo, which I get, but... at a point, it's like, okay, well,
like, the red zone could have been so interesting.
The red zone could have been more.
How did they just not touch that?
I mean, they touched it. They had the plane sounds changed a couple of times.
They added a Doppler effect.
They added a Doppler effect, which was shit, and then they
took it away.
Then they took it away, and then they finally fixed it. They did get that right. The Doppler effect is pretty good now. If you
do you guys think if they had added like a competitive matchmaking mode, like where you were ranked and you played against people of the same rank, that might have fixed it a little bit? Like people who wanted to be more casual and just blown each other away could have all been like in a lower tier in people because you usually score less because it rewards winning, whereas like people who like wanted to be extremely intense could have, like, that's a pretty basic feature that
on the same
most games
thread
fucking have.
Game modes like pistols only or melee weapons only or like
they got a little better with that, but it was annoying, the way they did events.
Right, it was better.
Not events, like
UI.
game modes.
No, like a game mode where you could like...
I'm agreeing with you, Brian.
Yeah, like,
and that's simple shit. It's just making something else in your UI and making a different instance on your server.
Yeah.
I've probably spent 5 hours on and off the last few days getting my rank up in Rocket League just because I wanted to, like, I was like, my rank's too low in Rocket League. I can't let Jake see this. So I got it up. Like, that...
We won't tell him, Chris. We won't tell him.
Yeah, you won't tell him.
He already knows.
Yeah. So and like now it's like that's the kind of, I get competitive with that shit. Like StarCraft, I got really into like ranking up. Like I liked that shit.
You gotta let that shit go,
that's
man.
what I'm saying. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like just seeing progression in yourself, not even in like your character or whatever, but just seeing like you are getting better is nice. Not just like I played a game and I fucking died because my bike blew up. Like.
It also makes the matches more interesting because, like, when you and I would play StarCraft and we were fucking silver or whatever, like, we were playing other people who were comparably good, And so like the level of challenge was appropriate. And so like we might have a really protracted match that at least is interesting. We might get clowned in a match. We might totally run over guys in another match, but it wasn't like every match more or less played out the same. There are some players that are much better. They just kill you, or you can hide and like not really play and maybe win and get in the top, whatever. Same thing goes for Rocket League. Like when Brian can attest to this, when we play casuals, or sometimes when we play ranked, because Jake is a significantly higher rank than the two of us, it's not fun because we just keep getting clowned. Like the other guys are so much better that they just kick the shit out of us for like 5 minutes, and that's not really interesting.
Yeah, then you're like, okay, geez,
it's just frustrating.
I'm out.
Whereas when we play either casual or if we play ranked, like the three of us, we're much more evenly matched with the other team. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. It's competitive. Everyone's having a good time. I think that could have gone a long way with making PUBG more replayable.
I mean, with 100 people, it's kind of hard to do.
I understand.
It's a little harder to tailor that.
But you can still do it.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you could make like a kind of newbie map and an experience, because it makes it more fun for everybody. Unless you like just like seal clubbing, in which case, you're kind of a piece of shit. But if you disagree with that, go ahead and hammer that on down in the word box there. Cross promotion.
Well, yeah, so I guess like the last kind of thing was and if you guys don't have anything, that's fine, but are there any games that you can think of right now that are kind of like showing similar trends? And personally, off the top of my head, I can't really think of games that are showing these egregious mistakes to this level, but for like the AAA battle royales that are coming out, like Battlefield 5 and Call of Duty Black Ops 4 that are coming out in the next few months, I think we covered this, but if there's anything like really really poignant or pushing or pressing that you think that these guys should hear, because all the developers are watching Cohesive Friendship Unit's videos and listening to our feedback.
Well,
definitely throw that out.
And hammer that MF like button, please.
Well, so my
Jeez.
feedback would be what I just said. Like, I think the whole genre of battle royale is in trouble if they don't do something to add more diversity to the way matches play out. And I think Brian hit the nail on the head. Like, different types of matches, different types of matchmaking, maybe a progression system. They have to have something, and I think that goes for Fortnite too. Otherwise, I think the genre is just going to kind of slip away.
I was going to say, I think Fortnite should be wary of following it. Like, the thing with PUBG is they kind of skipped like the having a good game part, and they went straight to like the bloated over monetization and an inevitable collapse. It was just really quick, so it's kind of interesting to watch. But I think that this is something that all games really are capable of falling victim to, where you're resting on your laurels and you're just either counting on the fact that people will buy the next iteration of your game, i.e. Call of Duty, or people are going to continue buying skins, or people are going to continue playing your game and continue putting money into your game when you really haven't been putting anything into your game yourself. There's no reason to keep people coming back other than the people that you've got who are hooked. You're not going to get huge player numbers with just a small core audience that likes your game for whatever reason they like your game. You have to keep it variable. You have to keep it different for people that want that, and you have to give the people who want to just keep it what the original gameplay more or less was an option to play that way as much as you reasonably can. So for stuff like pistol matches or whatever, you'd have the ability to opt out of that. Or if you wanted to just play on the original maps, like, you should be able to select which you play on. If you want to play on all of them, you can just click the random option. Give people the ability to play what they like, and try to continually improve your product, because if this is the point that we've come to with video games, is sort of I guess you say, quote unquote, a living product, you know, something that undergoes continual updates, and, you know, 2 or 3 years down the road, it's not going to look the same as it does right now. There has to be growth. There has to be change. It has to live if that's how you're going to market these things, or if that's how these things are supposed to work. So you have to put something back into it. Don't just count on the fact that people are always going to spend money because you're popular right now. That's what happened to PUBG.
And I'll just say, for Call of Duty and Battlefield in particular, the two big AAAs that are coming out with this very soon, play to your strengths as a AAA publisher, a game developer who put out a lot of games. You already have a ranking system in place. You already have a lot of the things we complained about PUBG in place. Use those, and use the things that make your franchise special. For example, I really liked this about the Black Ops 4 Battle Royale mode. You can pick up perks on the ground. Like, perks are item drops, and they give you a temporary buff. Like, it'll be like quieter footsteps for 15 seconds. You know, use the perk.
Instead of permanent.
Exactly, yeah. But you're taking those Call of Duty perks and you're using those in a very clever way. Battlefield 5, I imagine they're going to really leverage the vehicular gameplay. I imagine there's going to be tanks and crazy shit, and there's going to be, you know, use those and balance them well, but use them, and I think you'll have a really strong game. And again, on Call of Duty, they're known for having pretty decent arena maps, and they basically all the Battle Royale map are their most famous. Like, Nuketown is like in the map. It's like all of their top 15 best maps just kind of dropped into this world. So there's a lot of arena maps, and that's going to make for good circles, and play with that. You know, keep your identity while taking on this thing that everyone's trying to copy.
And one more thing that I just thought of: don't fucking give up. Like, before you're cooked, like, don't fucking roll over and say that you were cooked, because, like, they could have done a lot of these little tiny things that we mentioned and been in a completely different place.
Yeah, look at fucking Hello
saying,
Games
"Oh,
and No Man's Sky."
Right, they stuck out, like, you know, people, that was the butt of every fucking joke. And then all of a sudden it's, it's like, it's not quite a critic's baby, but, like, it's considerably approved in public opinion, and they're still going at it. So, like, take a leaf out of their book.
I think everything that we've suggested was very attainable, and, like, I think even a few of those things put in place, they'd be in a much better position than they are now. But yeah.
All right, that was heartfelt. That was heartfelt. Send him off, Brian.
Well, if you have any heartfelt advice for us, or if you're just cranking the tunes and breathing the fumes, go ahead and hammer that on down in the word box, and click the little ringy dingy in the top right hand corner while you're at it. If you want to get continuously updated with all of our continuously cohesive doings here on the Cohesive Friendship. I'm losing my words, man. Here on our fucking channel, like us and sub us if you like this video, because I like this video, and smoke them if you got them, guys. That's all for me tonight, Chris.
All right, thanks, Brian. We'll catch you guys next time.